Hey, pizowell here again. On my last video, I threatened to do a video about some movies that have not yet come to DVD that I would like to see on DVD. I decided to do something a little different. I'm still going to do that. I picked out 4 movies that I wanted to see on DVD that are only available on video now. And I've decided just to really focus on one, my favorite of the bunch, but I'll briefly run through the other 3 here. The first one is Paper House, directed by Bernard Rose, who did Candyman. He's a really talented filmmaker, I think. I don't know why he doesn't work more, or why he doesn't do more high-profile stuff. It's kind of a fairy tale-esque story about a little girl who comes down with a fever, and she draws a picture of a house with a little boy in the window, and in her fevered state, when she dreams, she's transported to that house and to the little boy, and the more detail she puts in the story, the more detail she puts in the picture, the more detail is in her dream, and she befriends the little boy, and it's a really good movie. Pretty touching, actually. I like it a lot. The other 2 are movies that are so bad they're good, and I know that's really predicated upon taste. A lot of people have told me to check out movies that are so bad they're good, and I watch them and I'm like, well, they're just really bad. So keep in mind, tastes may vary, but the first movie is The Pit, made in the early 80s. It's about a little boy who kind of ostracized, an outsider and stuff, and he finds this big hole in his backyard that are full of these trolls, or trawl logs as he calls them, and he feeds them meat from the deli, and eventually he starts feeding them people who are mean to him, and it's just a hilarious story. Poorly acted, directed, written. There are scenes in this that are just hilarious. This huge hole in his backyard that supposedly has been there forever, that just nobody's noticed, and people can stand around it and not notice it until they've fallen in and fall prey to the trawl logs. And there's a lot of hilarious sequences in this movie. Definitely one to check out if you haven't seen it. Another one, so bad it's good, is Psycho Cop. That movie just, it seems to me like that movie was made over the course of like a long weekend and was totally improvised, because there's dialogue in that movie that you can't write. I mean, you're not going to write dialogue like that and sit back and go, that's pretty good. It's just, you really get the feeling that nobody knew what they were doing when they were making this movie. There's a character in it called, who's referred to only as the caretaker, who dies within the first reel, but he's continuously referred to throughout the rest of the movie. He's referred to like 40 times throughout the rest of the movie. There's just so many glaring errors in the movie too, just things that don't make sense, and it's got the classic sort of, the character who's always like, well, yeah, I have a bad feeling about this. I feel like someone's watching us. But she starts having these paranoid feelings literally from the word go. The Psycho Cop himself is hilarious, always punning when he kills somebody. You have the right to remain dead, you're obstructing justice, things like that. Just a hilarious movie. Definitely check it out. But the movie that I want to talk about is Jack's Back, written and directed by Rowdy Herrington and starring James Spader in dual roles. This is a movie that came and went really quickly. I think it was released in '87. It's about, it's been 100 years since Jack the Ripper cut his bloody swath through the east side or south side of London, I can't remember, massacring prostitutes, and 100 years to the day of those killings, someone is emulating them in Los Angeles. With the title like Jack's Back, and with that premise, it makes it sound like this movie's just your run-of-the-mill 80s exploitation slasher thriller that's easily passable. and I think that's why the movie didn't play to much fanfare. But in actuality, the movie is very well written, very well directed, and very well acted. That plot line about Jack the Ripper is plot line A, then it becomes plot line C, then it becomes plot line. It's plot A, then plot B, then plot C. Hold on a minute, forgot my alphabet. But it's so well written and so well acted that all the plot lines, the subplots come together beautifully. In the hands of a lesser director, or a lesser writer, or a lesser actor, there's something that happens in this movie before the halfway point that would have been laughable in the hands of lesser talented people. It's totally believable in this film. Spader plays twin brothers. The first brother is a med student, all-American, good guy. The other brother, this guy here, sort of the black sheep, got in with the bad crowd, got in trouble with the law, is now trying to get his stuff together. He's totally believable in both. Just a fantastic movie. I highly recommend it to anybody out there. The thing that sort of hinders this movie from coming out on DVD is it's obscure. It doesn't really have a cult following, and but the people who have seen this movie really seem to like it. I've never heard a bad review about this movie. So you can find this on eBay. I'm sure I bought this copy off eBay years and years ago for like $2. If you can find it out there, definitely buy it. I would love to see this come to DVD with commentary and interviews and stuff. I think it richly deserves it, and it richly deserves an audience, because I think it's a fantastic film, very unsung. Definitely check it out. On a side note, I also kind of want to mention, yesterday I got in My Best Friend's a Vampire from Netflix, the new version released by Lionsgate. And if you're a fan of 80s movies like Teen Wolf, rent this movie, buy it. You'll like it, I think. I had such a good time watching it. It took me back 17 years at least to when I used to rent it when I was a kid. And just had a really good time watching it. I was surprised at how much I remembered of the movie. But I just really had a good time watching it. So check it out. Also, there's another movie that came out around that time, not Once Bitten, but that's very similar to My Best Friend's a Vampire. Even the titles are similar, but I can't remember what it's called, or I can't really remember that much about it. If you know the movie that I'm talking about, let me know. I'd kind of like to check it out again. So until next time, check out Jack's Back. Definitely check out My Best Friend's a Vampire if you haven't already. And hopefully we'll get Jack's Back on DVD very soon. I hope and pray. So until next time, peace.